I'm feeling good. I mean, it's day to day. I'm progressing. Um, but we just kind of take it a day at a time. There's some days I don't feel as good as others, but for the most part, I foresee myself, getting back to normal before too long.
And does that mean, on the force again, active duty?
I hope so. That's my goal. As long as I can get my health where it needs to be, then sure, I want to go back to work.
And, how does she feel about that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm all for it. It's been in his heart since day one. It's a family thing.
Okay, so what's the last few weeks, well, actually a couple of months, what's it been like? I mean, have you been able to process what's happened, and especially with the community and everything since, that night?
Yeah, the community has been phenomenal. The support, which I didn't even know about a lot of it, obviously, because I was out of it. But Michelle and Sheriff Ivy and, just other friends and whatnot have kind of filled me in on, what was going on while I was in the hospital. And it was...
Well, we had a lot of support not only from Brevard County, but also from the Orlando area, the police department, the sheriff's department, a huge overwhelming support of everybody there from the moment we arrived to Rockledge all the way to Orlando. People there to support us, not only downstairs in the hospital, but up at the room. Just overwhelming support that really made this a whole lot easier to know that people are there for us that are supporting Casey and also backing up law enforcement. It's great to have that, to know that.
It's really overwhelming.
Yeah.
It really is. You don't understand it until you go through it, and it's
I know, Jerry, you've also received a special message from one of your favorite sports franchises, right?
Yeah. I got a letter in the mail from Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys. And he sent me a shirt and a hat and was wishing me a speedy recovery, and I thought that was pretty special.
Do you have any? You've had incredible support from all over the country, actually. And do you have any message for people out there that you'd like to say back to them?
Just to say thank you. I really don't. It's overwhelming. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. It means a lot. It means more than I can just put into words. The cards we've gotten and just everything. The charities, gosh, I can't remember now. My mind just went blank.
Well, we had from the schools, we had the Brevard County
Public Safety Charity.
We had different restaurants supporting Casey, and it's just nice when you kind of feel like you hit a road sometimes in the hospital, and I know he felt that at different times, that maybe he kind of hit a roadblock, but in pours some cards from school, in pours some support, some type of donation. And that's when you stop and think and you realize there are people that really care. They really care, and for Casey, he's out there doing his job. I mean, he wouldn't trade it for the world. And when something tragic happens and you come along and you feel like you're just doing your job, and then all these people are here to support you, it just, it touches your heart in a way that it's very hard to explain, but you feel it. It's a feeling. So it's...
That day, do you remember the day, like you woke up, you shaved, you brushed your teeth, you did kind of a normal day? Have you thought about that day? Did anything sort of stick out in your mind about that particular day? And then
it was just another day of work, and we were doing our thing just like we do every night. And obviously it didn't pan out the way we hoped it would, but it was just another day.
As a law enforcement, person, you probably wanted to do it a long time. You have been doing it for quite some time. did you ever, before in the past, maybe sort of say, you know, this is a dangerous thing that we do?
You know, you take it for granted, and I'm just as guilty as probably most of the guys I work with. You don't actually think about going out there and the job being as dangerous as it is. Obviously, it's something I'm going to consider now, but you know, at least I know I did. I kind of took it for granted, and you know, it is a dangerous job, and we need to realize that. And I think guys getting into it or guys that are in it need to realize that, and they don't need to take it for granted.
I think maybe you pass along some of your experience to the younger guys who are going out there saying, I'm invincible, kind of a thing.
Yeah, because you're not. I mean, you know, it can go from good to really messed up really quick.
You guys had some really scary moments, obviously, and after Haley, were there any, I mean, how did you make it through the, like, real dark moments?
Honestly, for me, I think it was our faith. You know, our faith and friends and family. That's what really helped us out the first time around with her. You know, and then of course having some more children also was a blessing. So you have to realize sometimes when bad things happen, you have to have a strong faith in it and know that there's obviously something better. Obviously something better is going to come out of it.
You know, I like to think she was there.
Absolutely.
I'm sure she was.
A lot of little blessings that he doesn't know, you know,
Yeah.
at the time, that he's learning about.
Casey, you've got such a beautiful family here, your daughter and your wife. How has this brought you to your family closer together? In ways that's happened?
You know, we've always been close. From, you know, with my first daughter passing, you know, and we've always been a close-knit family. Michelle's been very supportive. She's very strong. You know, we have a close-knit family, you know.
And thinking about the future, you know, any particular things that you, when you get well, you get healthy, any things that you plan to do differently in your future?
Well, you know, and we kind of talked about this when my first daughter was sick, is you can't take for granted life, you know. And I think even so we get guilty of it, just get caught up in the hustle and bustle, and you know, we need to slow down and take time to realize what's important, because family's important, you know. And I know, well, I don't know.
No, I think the biggest part, you know, for me is you know, like with Haley when we had her, you know, it's the driving to gymnastics, it's the watching your son's baseball game, it's all those little things that sometimes you get frustrated with, but you realize how important having time with your children really is. And then, you know, we get through that, we made it through that with our faith and friends and family. And then you think, okay, that's all I'm going to have. That's all somebody should have once in their lifetime. And then to, you know, be surprised with the second round was a little troublesome. But, you know, I never worried about him because I always knew he had his daughter watching over him. But I know she was there. It's just, you know, you don't think it's going to happen twice. And when it does, of course, again, you know, all the support and family and friends are still there. And if it wouldn't be for that, again, we wouldn't, I think, we wouldn't be as close as what we are. It's because of all them that keep us together, you know, because you know, at any moment in time, you can pick up the phone, you can call somebody can come over, somebody visits, somebody drops by, you know, that it's such, you know, it's really important to have all that. And, you know, I will hope he goes back to work. I want him to go back to work. His grandmother was a deputy, so growing up, we visited her in the jail. She worked at the county jail, so, you know, it's in his blood, and I support him wholeheartedly, and, you know, we would just want to kind of move forward and remember, take time out for the kids, take time out for ourselves, you know, and remember the little things. Little things are important.
I don't think you got into this for awards, but the governor gave you something very special yesterday that had to touch you a little bit.
You know, it didn't really hit me till this morning. I was like, you know, that was Governor Rick Scott. You know, that's just not like, you know, that's just not anybody. And that was pretty special. I don't feel that I'm a hero, you know, but it was pretty cool.